Hello, sweet people. The cat in this house is in heat. I'm taking a really difficult plunge for me. I've decided to stop thinking and get a ticket to Costa Rica and do a bit of work exchange there for 3 months and let go of whatever attachments I have towards myself. And it's really, really hard. I think everybody generally that knows me and that has known me over time is very supportive. I'm really, really grateful for that. And I'm sure, you know, in many cases it's like, you know, I love you and I want you to stay, but, you know, your heart really wants to do this, and you know, this is really a right move for you, and there's going to be so much to look forward to, and there's like so much positive feedback and support. And the only resistance that somebody's giving me is from the old man that I care for, and his name is Brian. And I sat with him yesterday and I basically told him that I'm organizing this trip, and he flipped his shit. And I don't mean like, you know, anger or anything. It was like sadness. It was like desperation. You know, he was like basically begging me not to go. And he was like, you know, Alina, you got under my skin. You know, it's like what I look forward to in my day. Oh, you know, the young woman that's coming to visit me, and like, you know, I think about you. And he was basically like almost telling me that he's like almost in love with me, for crying out loud, and like just, you know, that life isn't gonna be worth living when I go, and that he should just cut his throat. And I was like, okay, hold up, like, this is getting way too out of control, dramatic, like, ridiculous. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous to think that way. And I was even like, you know, kind of playing with the idea of, you know, maybe even coming back after my 3-month trip. Although what I would really like to do is probably kind of trek around for a little longer. But, you know, he, you know, and it was just time, and it, you know, it doesn't really mean anything. And I was like, listen, you know, like, I care really deeply for your well-being, and I want to craft a time for you that you're going to really enjoy, and you're going to be supported. And, you know, there's going to be these ladies that I'm finding to replace me that you're just going to enjoy. And, you know, you're just like afraid of change and like all of that. And he was like, well, what can I say? What can I say? Just think it over. That's all I ask. And it was like, no, I bought the ticket, Brian, you know, and he was just so sad. He was so sad. And it just got so dramatic. And he like took my hand and like kissed it and like stroked my face. And it was like, Oh my god, this is like so heartbreaking. Like this like 83-year-old guy who like has no family and no friends and like, you know, just got to like a really bad state, and he was like, please, like, I beg you not to go, you know, like, should I just like write my will, you know, into your name and that. And I was like, what the fuck, like, where's this coming from, dude? Just like chillax. It's, you know, I really need to do this. And I tried to articulate to him like how important it actually was for me to do this, you know, and break this pattern of mine, and like give myself the permission to go, and that, you know, my heart, there's just something missing and something really unfulfilled, and like, you know, I just really want to be in nature and be in that energy, and be, you know, basically do what I'm intending to do there in terms of that interpersonal work. And like, and I was trying to articulate how important it was, but he was just like not listening. For him, it was just about him. And then he told me, you know, how selfish he thought that I was. And I was like, well, I'm thinking the same about you, dude. You know? It's like, it's really, really fucking hard. And so that was like the biggest obstacle for me, because I could see the devastation, and I could see that it could, like, you know, just lead to so much heartbreak. And, you know, like, you know, we're all one, you know, and we're responsible for the impact that we cause people. But it's like, holy shit, why do I just like keep breaking people's hearts? It's just like so, and it's not even about them. It's like, I just really need to take a trip. I just really need to do this for myself. Like, this is really honest. And like, it also got me reflecting, you know, on love and attachment, and, you know, just like letting our heart and the other person's heart to, you know, to breathe and to step into like what feels the most right for them, you know, because that's like a deep voice that not a lot of people even know how to listen to. But so many people like guilt each other for like following that and doing what's right for that. And I think like I'm really lucky to be surrounded around people that are generally really supportive of that. But like, it's true, especially people with like just like holding on with all their might kind of attitude to responsibility. And I think responsibility is really important, but what I'm starting to learn over time, you know, like I came from like a very like dogmatic, like really highly disciplined school. You know, we were there, you know, we couldn't be late or else we're kicked out. You know, we have to be going, we have to be taking on the workload, we have to be going at, you know, 13 hours a day, 6 days a week, like our whole life is just committed. And it was just like so high risk. And I just kind of like came out of this journey of, you know, if I say something, I'm gonna fucking do this, and this is like my priority, and like whatever, you know, things I want to do in life and whatever things really speak to me kind of have to take the back seat of these like financial responsibilities, or like things that I said that I would do, and like all of this shit. When, you know, as I evolve and as I grow, I kind of realize actually things are pretty malleable, you know. And if you really need something and want to do something, that it's accessible, that you can always, you know, organize and get other people to step in, and that it's not the end of the world, and that, you know, you're not a failure, and that you're not abandoning anybody, and that, you know, like all of these like concepts of immense amount of guilt that occur in, you know, not doing those things is actually bullshit, and that life is a bit more humorous, is a little more easy, is a little more, you know, light. And I'm really embracing that knowing, and that everything's gonna be okay, and I'm gonna be supported, and that this trip is okay. And just like this big bump in the road of like, I'm gonna die if you leave, is just like so fucking melodramatic. It's like the height of like the kind of resistance that I could possibly come across. And it's like, it's a really big hit because I'm flying out next week. Like, by next week, I'm gonna be in Costa Rica. You know, and that's just like a really big load to like be hit with, of like, oh my God, I might leave somebody that old in devastation and stress. And that's like, that's a really big impact, you know. And I'm sitting with that being like, holy fuck, holy fuck. And so the importance that I find in this trip is very immense, and yet I'm experiencing doubt. You know, now I'm experiencing doubt. I feel really financially stable, and it's really nice, you know. It's really nice to have a sense of kind of freedom, of like things that I would like to purchase, you know, without, and it has really helped me to heal my relationship with money, you know, like actually being in a place where I feel like I have enough, and that I have comfortably enough. I've never been in that place, you know. And so like since August, I've been in that place, you know, and it's February now, and it's just like, it has taken this like deep, deep, deep journey inside me, and I'm like realizing like the ease that is possible with money, and the generosity that is possible with money, and the thoughtfulness that is possible with money, and it is no longer something that just like holds me at my throat. And so what I want to do is like create even more freedom, pushing for more freedom with a similar, you know, sense of sustenance that I could make maybe while traveling. And I think by putting myself out there and putting myself in the hot seat, I'll be able to cultivate something of that nature, you know. And then another piece is that ultimately I'm really unfulfilled and I'm dissatisfied. And I've tried to fill that void with yoga and some meditation and boxing and, you know, and friendships and deep relationships and fulfilling work and sex and beautiful, you know, hippie lifestyles, and there's just like such incredible moments of joy, you know, of like, wow, you know, I just want to be like living in a certain vibe and like be healed by a certain vibe, but it's just like it doesn't last, you know. And that's like the misery and the suffering of being alive, I suppose. But the thing is, you know, I always recognize that there's something deeper that festers inside my soul, and that all of these ways in which I'm trying to ignite and like balance out my hormones and like, you know, my well-being, and just like trying to chip away at that work, and then I get into this space of like, this is meaningless, this is actually not really creating a really deep change, and like what is missing. And there's like You know, I'm looking for support around me. I'm looking for an immense amount of love. I'm looking for a deeper connection to my spiritual self that is unbreakable. And, you know, I need to cultivate that. And I remember what it's like to be living from that place. I remember what it's like, you know, to be with people that you know, I feel truly seen and accepted and loved by, and devoted to, and loyally as a friend. And, you know, and I just find myself here often like so alone, and I know that it's me, and that, you know, I'm also kind of non-committal and running around, and that's why, you know, I feel this way. Is like a lot of my own action and what I've cultivated. But ultimately, like, I don't know, I just have this like travel dreamer thing, and I'm really scared that I'm just gonna go out into the world and gonna feel just as alone as ever, you know. And maybe that's the case. Maybe that's just something that I need to walk through, you know. But say I do this, the risk of the damage that I'm gonna be doing to somebody, it's like a lot. But the fact that I don't have any freedom to even invest in the dreams of my life, you know. And I think about other pursuits. Like, I think about, okay, I'm an actor, I'm a trained actor, and I want to be acting, I want to be story gathering, I want to be collecting projects. Maybe I should just go full blown into like committing my time to like really chiseling this out. And there's something about that that's like, that's really like heavy still. Like it just doesn't feel like the right time to do that. It just feels like grinding like through this heavy molasses of like internal resistance, and this voice inside me that says, no, actually, let's go this way. And it's me trying to learn to trust that and let go of the doubt and step into that.